I've got an '08 Saturn Outlook, and I'm fixing to change the AC condenser. And so I've kind of looked and tried to see the procedures on this, try to find a video. I haven't really found a good one yet, so I'm going to show you how we're going to fix this. I'm going to start by taking this little cover off right here, and these little pop, I don't know what you call them, little plastic pop things that hold it in. You just lift up on the top part, and then you can kind of see how it separates there, and then it just comes out, and then that piece just comes right out with it. So these you don't try to pull the whole thing out, you just take the top piece out first, and then the bottom piece comes out. So I'm gonna take all these out, and then we'll go from there. So with that off, it looks like we've got some screws on the top, right there, and there. Looks like it's missing one over there, so this has probably been taken off in the past. And so I'm going to get those screws out, and then we'll come back. So with those removed, you can kind of tell that's freed that up on the top, and kind of working our way around this bumper. I'm thinking this inside piece is going to have to be removed. It looks like it's kind of holding on with those screws. That one's barely on. So what I'm going to do is remove these tires on the front, and that'll give me some access to this. So let me jack the car up and take off. Now I've got the wheel off, and I've got a stand, and I got the back wheel chalked, the other side chalked. And I'm not on real level ground here, so I'm leaving it supported a little bit by that jack and the stand. So I took a few of these off, just enough to peel this back to kind of get a look in. And right up under the top, up in here, there's 3 bolts that are going to need to be taken out. And starting to thunder on me, so hopefully we won't get a big thunderstorm here. I just got into this and might rain me out. So I've got those bolts up at the top taken off, so I got a wasp nest in here I got to deal with. But this little bracket right here, just unbolt that from the bottom. It just bolts up down there at the bottom. So that frees up the driver's side right there. And so then we're going to move around to the passenger side. So from this view, you might be able to see a little better. You know, the second side, the second verse was the same as the first. You got a couple of screws up here at the top. You've got one bracket right there holding this in. Just take the bottom bolt out, and then from there, from the center, you just pull straight out. And there's no bolts holding the center in. It's just these bolts on the side. There's 2 at the bottom too, so 2 screws on the bottom, 3 at the top, and there's a little bracket that comes off with 2 of them, and then one on the end is just a screw. And then you unplug the harness, and you got this bracket. So that's mainly what's holding it on. There might be some little clips somewhere that snap in. I can't really tell, but I just grabbed it and pulled it straight out. So from there, hopefully, I'm looking at the condenser, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to look around and find out. I think this is the condenser right here. It looks like it, but give me a second to dig around a little bit. So I got out my new condenser and just kind of orientated the way that the new one's going on. So this is the condenser right here in the front. So there's some clips right here that you press in, and that pops off. See how that does. There's another one down low. I don't know that I can get the camera to it, but there's another one down here that does that. There's 4 corners that has the little clips. So I'm gonna unclip those. There's a place on this side for the AC lines that go in, so I'll have to take that out. This system is totally empty of Freon, so it's all leaked out, so I don't have to worry about recovering the coolant, the refrigerant. So we always called it Freon growing up. I don't know that it actually is nowadays, but I'm gonna take that off and let the pressure off. But like I said, this has absolutely no refrigerant in it. It's all leaked out. And here we go. Look what I just found. So yeah, look at there. I've been missing that. My 10mm wrench, it's sitting right here. A little rust on it now, but actually found a 10. Look at that. So I'm gonna get that off and see if I can get these tabs off and get this pulled out and get my new one installed. Alright, so the way this thing comes out, you unclip the two tops and then you pull this little, I don't know, it's a little rubber piece. You got to pull it back, and then you pull it back on the bottom. And this little clip right here, you have to pull the whole unit up. So once you get it wiggled up a little bit, kind of lean it out, and it'll come right out. So there it is. And then there's a couple of these little things that fell out. So I don't know how that's supposed to fit back in, but maybe they do. I don't see it on the new unit, so I'm gonna take a look around before I put the new one in. So the new one, so you can see it looks like there's maybe some damage at the bottom. This thing took some damage. Maybe that's why it's leaking. I can't tell if it's been leaking out of the bottom, but I've already replaced the compressor in this car, and it held refrigerant for about maybe 2 months, and then it all leaked out. So it's hard to tell, but this definitely needs replaced anyway, so I don't feel bad about doing this. It looks like there's some damage to the bottom. It's all bent at the bottom. So we'll get this new one installed, and hopefully everything will go in real smooth here. So these little rubber pieces go over this little metal piece right here. You can kind of see that that's bare. So it's gonna go on like that. Just slip on there. That's gonna keep that from being metal to metal rubbing. It just goes down in there and just push it on. It just slips on. And if I had more time, I would clean up. It looks like that may be a trans cooler there. It's bent in. This definitely took some damage at some point in its life, but as far as I know, the radiator's working fine, so I'm not gonna mess with it right now. All right, we got it in. You put it in just like the reverse. You put the bottom in first. There's a little slide on tab right down there. This side, on the driver's side, is a little harder to see, but you've got a little bit of left to right play, so you can kind of push it to one way or push it to the other, and then and you just want to make sure that these little tabs are clicked. So make sure that they're pushed on real tight enough to catch, and it's not coming out. And then just kind of position that back like it was. On this side, on the two AC lines, I put new washers on those lines and lubricated them with some fresh pag oil. So you lubricate those new washers, and I snugged it on. I don't know what torque value that needs to be, but I put it tight but not too tight, and maybe that'll be good enough. And on this side too, this side was harder to get clipped, but just make sure that it doesn't pull out. So just kind of pull that way on the back of that, and just make sure that that little clip is seated, because that's the only thing really holding this thing in is this side, and the driver's side top is clipped, and the other one just, the bottom just sits in a little groove down there, right there, both sides. So that was it, pretty easy. So now I'm gonna get it all put back together, and I'm gonna have to put the AC vacuum pump, because you open the system, it is so humid and hot today. Moisture is pulled into the system as soon as those lines are taken out. So if you do this job, make sure you do it right. Get you a pump. You can rent them at the parts store and take them back and get your money back. So no reason to not do it right. You vacuum out the system at least 2 hours, maybe longer. So probably about a 2-hour pump, and then I'm going to recharge it with fresh refrigerant, and hopefully I won't have to do this job again on this vehicle. The AC compressor was a real bear to get to and get out. So if you're working on one of these vehicles, I feel for you, because it's tough. But thanks for watching. What once was lost is now found.